This conference will now be recorded.
Is it okay? It's presentation. Sumit? Aditya?
Hello?
Presentation is
Yes, sir.
can be seen, na?
Yes, visible.
Yes, presentation can be seen. You have been given a status of presenter, sir. So you
Yes.
can present.
Okay.
And Aditya is organizer.
Okay. Now, how to minimize? I'll have to check. How to minimize my screen?
Aditya,
Yes.
I think we should start with the meeting.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Everyone, today we had a great loss of our profession. So today we lost Shri Sunil Ji Patolia Ji. He was a CCM. So with deep sorrow, I would just request everyone to please, before starting the meeting, let us offer our condolences and please maintain 2 minutes of silence for the departed soul. Okay. So we can start with the meeting. So before starting the meeting, I would just request everyone to switch on your videos if possible. Yeah. So basically today we have speaker Shri CA Ashwin Shah sir, and he's going to deliver a session on overview of IBC Code 2016 and professional opportunities. So we all are aware how much this subject is very important for our profession, and we have various opportunities. But since there are certain criterias wherein we all cannot do this, but in future when we are going to do this, or many who are about to know about this particular subject, we will get to learn, or we will get to know about this subject today in detail, because Ashwin sir has cleared the exam also. I will just give you a short introduction of him before starting the session. So Ashwin sir graduated from Mumbai University in 1986. Sir is a member from 1987. Since 1987, he is a practicing chartered accountant since 3 decades in the areas of advisory and litigation with specialization in real estate industry. He has passed limited insolvency examination conducted by IBBI and enrolled as insolvency professional with uh, IIPICAI. He has written articles of professional interest in various magazines such as News and Views of CBOC Association, Chamber of Tax Consultants, Sales Tax Practitioners Association. He has delivered more than 100 presentations on RERA, LLP, capital gain, and other allied subjects at various different forums such as WIRC, Ahmedabad branch, Ratnagiri branch, MCHI Credai, Institution of Engineers, and various study circles. So we have a person with wide knowledge, and we hope to get not the same from him today. And we are going to learn this subject. This is new for everyone, and we will get to know the professional opportunities involved in this subject. So we welcome Sri Ashwin Shah sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Aditya, and good evening to everyone. I thought this is the right platform. Am I audible, Aditya? Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir, yes.
I thought this is the right platform for me. This is my home ground. So I should start my first lecture on IBC because I just qualified recently. I cleared the limited professional examination. and I also enrolled with IIIP ICI, which is a joint venture of ICI with IBBI. Being a IPA, that is called IPA, Insolvency Professional Agency. So our institute is the Insolvency Professional Agency. And today only I have to then clear 50 hours of pre-registration course. So today it was the first lecture and it is going to be there till 24th February. So after that, then I will get registered as a IP with the IBBI. So today I am enrolled with IIIP ICI. So friend, when Aditya contacted me, I thought, okay, let's start the inning on the home ground. So I am also comfortable because this is the new subject for me to learn, right? One, yeah, yeah. So we all know in 2016, on 20th May 2016, the IBC code 2016 was notified. On the very same year, we also know RERA Act was also notified. Now there is a difference between Act and a code. So code is a wider terminology than an Act. So code covers the implementation through regulations and all these things. So today we have nearly 17 regulation of IBBI. So the IBC code was notified on 20th May 2016. The birth idea of IBC, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, was given by IRADI committee, Justice IRADI. I think in the year 2000, they gave their report that there should be a separate code and jurisdiction for insolvency cases. Prior to this, the company law board and regional director company were taking up all the liquidation matters and all these things. So with the suggestion of IRADI committee in 2000, the IBC code was thought of. In fact, Justice Iradi then expired in 2010 only, and but his idea was now implemented as a separate code, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Now, the main focus of this code is to have a company petition, which is to be company, or you can say corporate petition, because now LLP are also covered under IBC. So to take all this matter to NCLT rather than going to uh, uh, long listing matters in High Court and so on. So to reduce the burden of High Court, the NCLT and then NCLAT, NCLAT is formed under Companies Act. Section 432 deals with formation of NCLT. Now the main motto of IBC is not to recover the money. So many, when it was introduced, many people thought that it's a very good tool for recovery of the money. Let's have a threatening call to the corporate. Okay, if you do not pay me, I will go to the IBC code. But the main motto of IBC code is to revive the corporate entity, maximize the asset valuation, and to sell the company as a going concern rather than to use it as a recovery mode. And there are many judgment also on this. This should not be used as a recovery mechanism, but it should be used to revive the company, to sell it as a going concern, and to maximize the asset value. So entire machinery under IBC code is focused on revival of the corporate entity rather than uh, uh, shutting down the company or using it as a recovery mode. Now, what are the things that get covered? Now, today, friends, I will take you through the overview of IBC. We cannot cover entire IBC in 1.5 hours. So what I will do is I will take the overview of IBC. I will give you the glimpses of IBC, what it covers, how it works, and how it go about. So here the all the company and LLP are covered under IBC. So if I want to file any proceeding against any unit, so it has to be either a company or a LLP. It can also be a government company, because now government company is also registered under Companies Act. So it can also be a government company and LLP, but there are some restrictions. If you want to proceed against the government company, then there are a special procedure which has to be undergone. But otherwise, one can certainly go and go and file an application against the government company also. Now here one interesting thing is that IBC code, the proceeding under IBC code is not a suit, it's a proceeding. So you all are aware that a partnership firm which is not registered with register of firm cannot institute any suit unless it is registered. But here, even a partnership firm can file an application for commencement of insolvency proceeding against company or a LLP. So this is a fundamental difference. So this is not a suit but a proceeding. Then what other are covered are personal guarantor to corporate debtor. Say for example, there is a company or LLP. So even all the director or partner, generally they give the guarantee when they take the loan from the bank in a personal capacity. So they are also covered. Any other person other than partner or director who has given the guarantee to the corporate debtor is also covered. So two elements are covered: company, LLP, and the personal guarantor to the corporate debtor. Others, the act has already has been notified to cover individual partnership firm also, but till date rules and regulations are not notified. So today we do not have any provision to initiate insolvency proceeding against individual or against the partnership firm which are not LLP. Again, previously the voluntary liquidation was governed by the Companies Act 2013. So all the petition under voluntary liquidation were to be taken up by the company law board or regional director and so on. But now the voluntary liquidation will go before the NCLT under IBC. So you cannot liquidate company voluntarily without going through IBC proceeding. So now some of the provision of IBC proceeding are also applicable to voluntary liquidation. Now in this budget, I believe the period of 2 years has now been reduced to, I think, 6 months, voluntary liquidation or striking of the name of the company. Then fast track CIRP. Now what is CIRP? That is corporate insolvency resolution process. So the IBC has the period of around 180 days, but there are a notification whereby one can go under fast track mode also. So that can be done within 90 days. So that is available. Then recently in 2020-21 pre-packaged CIRP for MSME. So first of all, if I want to initiate any insolvency proceeding against a company or a LLP, then it has to be MSME duly registered as a MSME. You can't just say that I am a MSME as per the norms applicable, but you should be registered as a MSME. Now there is a fundamental difference between CIRP and pre-packaged CIRP. Now in CIRP, the board of director gets suspended, the powers of the board of director get suspended, and the insolvency professional take over the charge of the company. Whereas in pre-packaged CIRP, the powers of boards remain, and insolvency professional act as an support or aid along with the creditors for running the company and for the recovery of the money. So here the limits are also monetary limit are also less as compared to normal IBC proceeding. Here the limits are 10 lakh rupees, whereas for insolvency proceeding, the monetary limit of claim is now raised to 1 crore after COVID, that is after 25th March 2020. Prior to that, it was only 1 lakh rupees. So we can see many proceedings prior to 2020, but now it is raised to 1 crore, and still date on as on date also it is 1 crore only. Now, as I said, the entire focus is to reduce the burden on the judiciary. So here we have NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, and then Supreme Court is there. So only three layers are there. And fortunately, for a professional like chartered accountant, company secretary, and cost accountant, now we can represent, we can argue till NCLT. So almost till, you can say, till High Court level, we can argue before. So that is one of the very good area for all of us. Of course, in Supreme Court we require advocate. So these are the layer to do the fast track mechanism for judiciary process. Now let us understand some of the key terminology in insolvency proceeding. There are creditors, and for creditors there are various terminology like financial creditor. Now the very word itself says that a person who has given sum of money to the company, so he is called a financial creditor. Now for financial creditor to file an application, there has to be a default. Mere lending of money does not entitle a financial creditor to proceed under IBC. There has to be a default. Say for example, Mr. A has given a loan of say 5 crore rupees, and which is not yet due. So there is no default. So if there is no default, then proceeding cannot be initiated. So there has to be a default by the company or the LLP, then proceeding can be initiated. So we have financial creditor, and a default is a very much essential. Then we have a operational creditor. Now this creditor, they either supply the goods or render the services. Like chartered accountant, we render the services, or the merchant, they supply the goods. So they are called operational creditor. But here one more condition is imposed, that if there is an existence of dispute prior to filing the application, then that cannot be entertained. Say for example, somebody has supplied the goods and the corporate debtor is already in litigation, or dispute has been raised before some forum. So then that proceeding cannot start before the IBC unless that dispute has been resolved. So even though there is a default, but on in say payment of money, but still when there is a dispute, then IBC cannot be initiated. But in the case of financial creditor, this dispute need not be proved. But recently we have come across some situation where, I'll give the practical example. The DHFL has sanctioned many loans prior to it itself going into liquidation, IBC proceeding. So then now Piramal has taken over the DHFL, and sometime there are some dispute between the builder and the DHFL for not disbursement of the amount and so on. So whether such dispute will also be applicable to financial creditor or not is again a question to be determined at the higher end. Even though there is a default, but dispute is there, but then financial creditor will have only to prove the default and not the dispute. Now there are some category of creditor which you cannot say that they are either financial creditor or operational creditor, because the definition of financial creditor is very clearly given. Same way definition of operational creditor also is given very clearly, those who supply goods and services. It is not like that the definition of financial creditor is there and now everything else is an operational creditor. No, it is not like that. So then the issue came, what will happen to the allottee under RERA? So those flat purchaser, neither they have supplied any goods or services, neither they have given any loan to the corporate debtor. So whether they should be termed as a financial creditor or operational creditor. But now Supreme Court has confirmed that the allottee of the RERA are nothing but financial creditor, because the project gets finance from one of the major source, that is allottee. Project may get finance from secured creditor, unsecured creditor, or a equity, but the major source of supply of finance is allottee. So though allottee is a debtor, actually he is a debtor of the corporate debtor because he is the customer, but still he falls within the definition of financial creditor. But again, here, even if I, as a, suppose I have given the 5 crore rupees to a developer and he has defaulted. Now, can I go against that developer under IBC? The answer is no. I alone cannot go. There are some condition imposed on that. Even though my amount is more than 1 crore, but I cannot alone go. The condition is like this: the 10% of the total allottee, that is sold unit, or 100 allottee, whichever is less. So if this group get together, they can certainly drag corporate debtor to the IBC. So now one more avenue is open whenever we think whether we should go in RERA or Consumer Forum or IBC. So here there are many projects where the Association of Allottee now are trying to trigger IBC by way of a combined effort, that is 10% of the allottee or 100 in number, whichever is lower. Now the corporate applicant can also file IBC proceeding, or even corporate debtor himself, he can also file IBC proceeding against himself. Then the personal guarantor to corporate debtor, as I said, the director, partner, or any other person. So they are also can be dragged under IBC. Now here, interestingly, even though the IBC has not started or initiated against the company or a LLP, but still anyone can drag the personal guarantor to IBC even without taking any without filing application against the main company or the principal debtor, you can say. So there are judgment on this. It can be started, initiated against personal guarantor without initiating any application against the corporate debtor, or if suppose there are 5-6 personal guarantor, so it can be initiated against all the 5, any combination on any of one also, right? So there is no such restriction. So it can be started and money can be recovered from personal guarantor. So now one has to be very, very careful in advising our client whether to become the guarantor of any corporate debtor or LLP or not, because you may be taken to IBC and then your personal asset can also be attached for recovery. Now, I'll just take you through the CIRP process, some basic section. CIRP, as I said, is a corporate insolvency resolution process, right? So now section 1, it extends to entire India. Section 2, it covers company, LLP, personal guarantor to CD. CD means corporate debtor. It also applies to partnership and proprietorship of an individual. But as I said, the rules and regulations are not notified. So as of today, it is restricted to company, LLP and PG to CD. But in the time to come, even partnership firm, individual can also be covered once the things get normalized, because the entire focus is that the business confidence should increase, and in order to increase the business confidence, if such kind of special proceedings are available, so then there is a business confidence. Yes, I am assured that I will get my money back for the goods or services which I have given, or for the money which I have lended to all these partnership firm and individual. So we can see now the generally bank insist for even real estate project or a big project like hotel industry or any such big project, infrastructure project, they want corporate entity only, either LLP or a company. Otherwise, they don't lend money. So now, if you someone wants to avail say 50 crore or more than that, then they need to be a corporate entity. That is the requirement of the financial institution, because they are now secured under SURFACE also, under DRT also, and under IBC also. Now one more thing, there is a SURFACE Act. So if the principal debtor has made a default previously, prior to IBC, the bankers, financial institution can go to the DRT under SURFACE and recover their money. But now with the introduction of IBC, those cases will get transferred to NCLT. Those pending cases also will get transferred to NCLT, and now onwards all such petition has to be filed before NCLT under IBC. So now for corporate debtor, personal guarantor to corporate debtor, including LLP, all that petition has to be filed before NCLT and not under SURFACE. So this is the change which has been brought here. Now, as I said, initially the limit was 1 lakh. Now it is increased to 1 crore. That is after 25th March 2020. That is when the government realized that now the COVID has started, and because of this COVID, many small companies would get adversely affected. Say for default of 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 5 lakh, and they would be dragged to the IBC proceeding, which are deadly proceeding, I would say. So then government has increased those limit to 1 crore. But again, if the default is prior to 25th March 2020, then the limit of 1 lakh is applicable. So again, the default is important when it has occurred. So that is very much important. But as of now, the limit is 1 crore. So the number, but again, the government have a right to either increase or decrease this limit, or even to expand the campus of the IBC proceeding. Now section 6 talks about the initiation of by financial creditor, initiation of the IBC proceeding by the financial creditor. Under section 6 talks about who can initiate action under IBC, that is financial creditor, operational creditor, and corporate debtor himself, right? So now the allotee of the RERA are under financial creditor. So they are also covered. They can also file. And again, for financial creditor, the limit of 1 crore is not for its own claim of say 1 crore. Here, the interestingly, even if the financial institution has only 50 lakh claim, but if it can prove that there are other default beyond totaling to 1 crore, then IBC proceeding can also be started. But so far as operational creditor is concerned, it has to be individually. That 1 crore limit is individually only. So now section 7 is the main section, which says that application by financial creditor. So here the default is very much important. Now we have one new terminology, that is insolvency IPU, that is utility, information utilities. Yes, the word is information utility, IU. So today some national e-governance is one of the IU where the creditor and debtor can register their transaction. There are some fees, and the big corporate, they generally want all their debtor to be registered with that IU, information utility. And so there the default can be very easily identified, because here what happens, if I send the notice to the debtor, then information utility will send those notices to the debtor thrice. They will send 3 times, first time, then second time, and third time. If there is no response, then it would be presumed that there is a default. So that is one of the good tool available to the financial institution to prove their debt. So generally in case of a financial creditor, these are the cases where secured creditors are there, mortgage is there. So all these are noted on information utilities, and then it is very easy for them to prove that there is a default, and they can proceed under section 7 by filing an application before NCLT. Now here for triggering under section 7 IRP. Now what is IRP? Interim Resolution Professional. As I said, there is a terminology of IP, that is insolvency professional. Now insolvency professional is a bigger term. Then we have IRP, that is interim resolution professional, that is a starting point of CIRP. Then we have a resolution professional, that is the ending point of CIRP. So now the name of IRP has to be suggested by applicant under section 7. So they will have to obtain the consent of the IRP. Now here again, because one cannot just give the consent being a insolvency professional. Suppose I am an insolvency professional and I am eligible to act as a IP after registering with IBBI. So if somebody comes, some financial institution, and tells me, you give me this consent, I will file I want to file an application against a particular company. So here one has to be very, very careful. First, one has to ask many questions to those financial institution or operational creditor before giving the consent, because once you have given the consent, then your withdrawal cannot happen. Then withdrawal can happen only and only once RP is appointed, that is resolution professional, that we will come at a later stage. So you cannot voluntarily withdraw also, and you have to be there only. Now what, just imagine if the registered office of the company or LLP is in, say, Visakhapatnam. So then you will, once you are appointed, then within 3 days you have to publish a public announcement. Now there also the language is one regional language, one English language. You have to contact the local media people, and you have to announce a public announcement. So you should be well prepared before you sign any consent form, because it may happen that today you have signed the consent form, application is filed, but then the matter is dragged in appeal before NCLAT. So it happens, then after 2 years it may get admitted by NCLT, and now you are IRP. So you may not have thought that today you are free, but tomorrow you may not be. So you have to take a very cautious call while signing the consent form. And as I said, evidence of default has to be given. Now here the fees are 25,000 rupees, and one has to file application in form number 1 by financial creditor. Form number 2 is the consent of IRP, which is a compulsory condition under section 7. Now we come to section 8. Now if some operational creditor want to file want to drag a corporate debtor into IBC, so first condition is they have to raise a demand notice under section 8. So demand notice should go to the corporate debtor. Then the 10 days period is available to the corporate debtor to prove that he has already made the payment, or he is now ready to make the payment, or he can also prove that there is an existence of dispute. So that time period is available. But if within 10 days, if suppose corporate debtor does not do anything, then on 11th day or thereafter, under section 9, application can be filed by operational creditor. I have come across one case where before COVID, the amount was only 5.5 lakh rupees, and the corporate debtor took it very leniently. And today, the entire claim by 2 other financial institutions, now it is under IBC. So the claim is around, say, 300 or 400 crore on that company. Again, that company has undertaken one real estate project. So all the allottees are also now in difficulty. So just because of one silly mistake, so one has to be very, very careful. Once you receive the demand notice, either you have to prove that there is a dispute, but again the dispute should be prior to raising of the demand notice. You can't now say that the goods are of inferior quality or the services were not up to mark. Whatever dispute you want to raise, you should raise immediately whenever there are dispute. Otherwise it would be very difficult for you, and then IBC proceeding will get started. Once the IBC proceedings are admitted by NCLT, then you have only recourse that you can challenge in NCLAT or Supreme Court on various grounds. But if they also upheld the decision of NCLT, then your company has to be closed or has to be taken over by someone else. You cannot proceed further unless you yourself give a resolution plan, but then there are some conditions to that. Now section 10, as I said, the corporate applicant can file the application. Now section 10A, suspension of CIRP. So with the starting of COVID, then government realized that during this period, even if the limit was increased to 1 crore, but then there were difficulties in filing the application and all these things. So government has suspended the proceedings, new filing from 25th March 2020 to 24th March 2021. So that has been suspended. Now there are some disqualification of the applicant. Say for example, a company which has not completed 12 months of its own going into IBC, then they cannot file any application. There are some disqualifications there. So that disqualification will apply and one cannot go, one cannot file the application. Like a person who is an undischarged insolvent, he cannot file application, and so he is not entitled to. Yeah, as I said, CD undergoing CIRP or CD completed CIRP before last 12 months, right? Then CD or FC, that is financial creditor, has violated resolution plan before 12 months in any other matter. So they are also not eligible to apply. CD for which liquidation order is made. So we will come to that, what is liquidation and all these things. So these are the conditions. If these conditions are there, then that particular applicant is not allowed to file any application under CIRP. Now, what is the time limit for completion? Because this all the intention of IRAD committee was that insolvency proceedings should get completed as fast as possible. So they have suggested timeline of 180 days, which you can get one time extension of 90 days, right? And maximum, if NCLT feels, can go up to 330 days. So now this one time extension of 90 days, you have to prove what are the difficulty, and practically there are n number of difficulty which may arise, like corporate debtor has not cooperated, they are absconding, directors are absconding, either they are in jail, or many such things are there whereby the IBC proceedings are delayed. So there the IRP will have to file application before NCLT, citing various reasons why extension is required. Now, interestingly, one more section is added, section 12A, that is withdrawal of application by committee of creditors. So till the time application is admitted, applicant can very well withdraw it, right? But after that, once the application is admitted, then it can be withdrawn only with the 90% voting power of committee of creditors. Now this committee of creditor, if they feel that, okay, now things are settled, he is ready to pay, whatever formula is there, then they can file, they can have one resolution with 90% voting, they can give it to IRP, IRP will file application before NCLT, and the withdrawal can be done. There is no issue on that. Now, admission of application. So once NCLT is satisfied, okay, yes, there is a default, there is no dispute, the name suggested by financial creditor of IRP, there are no disciplinary proceeding pending against that IRP, and if everything is okay, then NCLT will issue one order of admission of application. That is the starting point of CIRP. That is when we can say that commencement of insolvency date, right? And then the NCLT will declare a moratorium period of 180 days, right? And the NCLT will appoint the IRP. In case of financial creditor, the name suggested would be taken as a IRP. But in case of operational creditor may suggest the name of the IRP along with the application, or then if it is not suggested, then there is a system whereby NCLT will tell the IBBI to give the name of IRP, and accordingly NCLT will admit the application with declaration of name of interim resolution professional. And NCLT will also give order to IRP to issue the public announcement by IRP. So here it is the starting point of IRP, and from here the time bound formality start, which has to be adhered to. Otherwise there are cases where proceedings or investigations are being initiated by IBBI and IPA. That is, IPA is Insolvency Professional Agency. That is our institute joint venture, which is named as IIIP ICAI. There are three institutes which has done the IPA, CA, CS and cost accountant. The Bar Council has not yet started any IPA. But any person, say I am chartered accountant, but I can go and register with Company Secretary Institute. No hurdle. Even an advocate can register with Institute of Chartered Accountant Joint Venture. I can change also. Only thing is there are some formalities, right? So today, Company Secretary Institute is also very much active, and our institute IPA is also very much active. So then there is a provision of public announcement, and as I said, within 3 days of appointment of IRP, you have to publish a public announcement in English and regional language, and there are some content. The details of the corporate debtor is CIN number, then email address of the IRP, then date by which the claim should be submitted. So generally from the date of public announcement it is 14 days. So within 14 days the claims are to be submitted. We might have seen many such public announcement in the Times of India or any leading newspaper, wherein 14 days time is given, and then there are some forms are there, like form C is there for a specific class of creditor. For example, if IRP come to know that the company is also into real estate project, then the allottee is a class of creditor, right? And if there are consortium finance, then many secured creditors are there, so they are also class of creditor. So for them again there is a provision that IRP will have to provide 3 names of authorized representative who are again insolvency professionals. So out of these 3 names, allottee will have to select name, and then by majority that authorized representative will represent those class of creditors. Now with this public announcement and admission of the claim, moratorium start. Now what do you mean by moratorium? So during this moratorium period of 180 days, all the proceedings should, whatever is there, which is before arbitration or RERA or civil court, wherever it is there, it will get halted. No recovery can be done even by income tax department, GST department, revenue, any department. No new proceeding can be initiated against the corporate debtor. So these are the effects. So they get a shelter of 180 days. So during this period, now we have seen under RERA also, whenever the complaints are filed against a developer, which is already there in the IBC, then we have to just tell that the proceedings are on under IBC. So either you keep the matter in abeyance or dismiss the complaint. So RERA has taken a stand. Okay, we will dismiss the complaint with the liberty to the complainant to reapproach after the IBC proceeding. So this is the effect of moratorium. But here one important thing is that the supply of essential services should not be halted. Say for example, electricity, water, which are or information technology services, which are vital essential services, cannot be halted even though there are default. So that has to be given to that corporate debtor, because the overall intention is to maximize the value of asset, sell that company, try first to go for going concern sale rather than piecemeal sale, and thereby maximize the value of the asset and give justice to the creditor. Then manner of public announcement I have already dealt with. So one has to be very careful. One has to prepare all these things prior to giving the consent, because you may be called upon to release within 3 days. Uh, Say for example, it is in Visakhapatnam, then you'll have to have all that contact. You have to prepare, ensure that it get published. It is also to be uploaded on IBBI website, IPA website, also on the corporate debtor website also it has to be uploaded. So once the IRP is there, then the power of the board gets suspended. So now who becomes the managing director or CEO of the company or LLP? That is IRP. So he is now the overall manager of that company. He has to run that company, uh, and he has to educate the director also. Okay, what are now proceeding? What are the steps to be taken? He has to take charge of all the login ID, all the assets, because unless he know all these things, he will not be able to maximize the value of the asset. So as I said, board will get suspended. So thereafter, board cannot act as a board of director. They remain as a director, but their powers are suspended. So they cannot conduct any meeting, nothing doing. Everything will be taken charge by the IRP only. Then in the public announcement, 14 days timeline is given to the general public or anyone, those who have claim against this corporate debtor, to file the claim. So here financial creditor, operational and allotee also. So that claim should be filed within 14 days. If somebody misses the 14 days time, then there is a provision, it can be done up to 90th day, but then they will not be taken into committee of creditor till such time. So maximum time limit is 90 days, but 14 days if they are there, then they're in constitution of committee of creditor, they can have the voting power. So the 14 days from the date of public announcement is the timeline. Then within 7 days of last date mentioned in the public announcement, that is T plus 3, then T plus 14. So now after 14, so T plus 21, that is within that 7 days, verification of claim should be done by the IRP, and he should constitute the committee of creditor within 2 days from the last date of verification of claim. So 23rd day is the day on which he has to constitute the committee of creditor, where you will have financial creditor, operational creditor, even the suspended board is also part and parcel of the committee of creditor, but they do not have any voting power. Voting power is only there with the financial creditor, not even with the operational creditor. Then first meeting of the COC should be done within 7 days, that is T plus 30. So here IRP will have to call the first. So all this groundwork has to be done before signing the consent. You should know about the corporate debtor. Where are his registered office? Where are the branch office? Where are the plants? All geographical details you should gather. Keep ready everything. You have to take the email address of all the creditors, even the board and so on, because you have to communicate the first meeting agenda to all these people, which should be done within 7 days, right? So the very first agenda in that committee of creditor would be to appoint the resolution professional. So the interim resolution professional task gets over once the resolution professional is appointed. So the agenda can be like this: IRP can be continued as a RP if COC feels so. If COC feels no, we want to change the IRP, it can be done. COC can change the IRP at n number of times, even after first meeting also. It is the decision of the committee of the creditors. With 67% voting, they can do so. So once the new RP is there, then the IRP will have to hand over everything to the RP. So again, there are n number of forms which IRP has to upload on IBBI portal, because once I register myself as an insolvency professional. I will get a user ID and a password of IBBI. Then I will have to take the authorization of like what COP we have. There is a authorization of assignment, AOA. So I will have to obtain authorization of assignment, that is year wise, not a corporate debtor wise. So in a year I can take n number of assignment, but unless I renew it, I will not be able to take the fresh assignment. So then I will have to upload the details of my assignment within 3 days. Once I give the consent, within 3 days I have to upload one form where I will have to give the details of assignment. Then I will have to upload the public announcement also. So once I get approval after details of assignment, then I have to upload the public announcement also on the IBBI portal, so that general public is made aware that there is a liquid insolvency proceeding going on against such corporate debtor. So there are n number of formality, time bound activity. So one has to be very, very careful. So once the resolution professional is appointed, then his task is to collect the information, compile the information, last 2 years balance sheet. He has to appoint the valuer. He has to appoint two valuer to value the movable, immovable, copyright, intangible asset, and he can also go for forensic audit. He can appoint various professionals. So all this cost would become the cost of the CIRP, that is called RP cost, resolution professional cost. And it is very good that the very first priority of payment is the resolution professional cost. So that all costs, even the remuneration of resolution professional or IRP, will be decided by COC. Now, in case of IRP, if the operational creditor is filing an application, so he will have to decide the remuneration of IRP, and he has to deposit some money with the IRP, because IRP has to give the public announcement and so on. So till the committee of creditor ratifies all the expenditure which are incurred by IRP, everything is to be borne by the operational creditor or financial creditor. Once the ratification is done, then the committee of creditor will reimburse those amount to the applicant, that is under section 7, 9 or 10. So committee of creditor is the ultimate authority to decide the remuneration of RP. So again, one has to be very, very cautious while deciding the remuneration, because insolvency proceeding may get, though the period of 180 days is there, but if the litigation is there, say for example, the NCLT order itself is challenged by the corporate debtor in NCLAT and then in Supreme Court, then that proceeding will again take 9 to 12 months. So one has to take all this into cognizance. So once the resolution professional takes the charge of the company, he has to take all the user ID, tally, means all accounting package. He has to take the financial statement. If the audit is not done, he can get it done. Now, interestingly, under our Companies Act, for removal of auditor, we cannot remove the auditor without his wish unless we have the central government approval. That is the provision under Companies Act. But here, there is a notwithstanding clause. So here the RP can remove the old auditor and replace a new auditor without even going into the procedure of central government approval. So that is allowed under IBC. So once the RP collect and compile all the information, he has to prepare one information memorandum. Now this information memorandum deals with the assets and liabilities and various details of the corporate debtor. Because unless this information memorandum is there, suppose the company has gone into insolvency, say for example Videocon, we take the example of Videocon. So there are some interested person, other people, they want to take over the company. So they are called resolution applicant. Now there are some qualification and disqualification for resolution applicant, like he himself should not be a defaulter or undischarged insolvent or a related party and so on. So resolution applicant will require the information, and he can request the RP to provide the information memorandum. RP will certainly provide those details to resolution applicant, and then resolution applicant will prepare its own resolution plan. We'll come to that. Yeah. Then invitation for resolution plan is to be given by RP. To that notice also has to be given. Okay, those who want to give the resolution plan, they can do so. If RP receives more than one resolution plan, then it is not that he himself has to choose the best resolution plan. What he has to do is he has to place it before the committee of creditor, and the final authority is committee of creditor. Now here there were initially some litigation on this point, whether resolution plan uh, approved by committee of creditor on a certain commercial consideration can be rejected by NCLT. Then now it is a settled position that so far as commercial decision is concerned, NCLT cannot interfere in the final authority of committee of creditor. Yes, NCLT will have to ensure that resolution plan is capable of being implemented. So if there are some impossibility, then NCLT can certainly direct to modify it or reject it. But otherwise, entire commerciality will depend upon the committee of creditors. Now, friends, you might be aware recently in the matter of DHFL, there are some headlines where this some of the assets around 40,000 crore. Now, these assets are not capable of realization. That's what committee of creditor felt, and it was given value of rupees 1. There were approved valuer also on the panel of COC, but then at rupees 1 it has been valued. Why rupees 1? Because some value has to be assigned, because to show the existence of this asset. Now this has been challenged by one of the creditor who is aggrieved before NCLAT, and NCLAT has remanded back the matter to the COC for reconsideration. For this 40,000 crore, this rupee 1 value cannot be accepted, because that creditor has given some report. Okay, this 40,000 crore asset has capacity of realization of around 5 to 10,000 crore. So now the matter is remanded to this again committee of creditor. So even after filing the resolution plan, resolution professional cannot presume that now my task is over, let us take 4-5 more assignment, because this kind of situation may arise. So again resolution plan professional will have to act as a resolution professional before COC. But again what I have heard and read is that Piramal, that is the person who has taken over the DHFL under resolution plan, is now under preparation to challenge the NCLAT order before the Supreme Court. So again the matter will get dragged and the resolution professional will have to wait, committee of creditor will also will have to wait. Then once the resolution plan is approved by committee of creditor, then RP will place it before NCLT. NCLT, as I said, will only ensure that the plan is capable of being implemented. Otherwise, commerciality will have to be looked by COC only, and NCLT will approve the resolution plan. And there are some terms and conditions like bank guarantee and so on. So resolution plan is a document which talks about how the operational creditor would be paid, how financial creditor would be paid, how income tax department would be dealt with, and so on, like this. Now COC is the final authority, I have already discussed, for commercial decision. So if within the period of 180 days, if no resolution plan is submitted, say for example only meetings are held and there are dispute and no resolution plan is submitted by RP, then NCLT, then RP will have to file one application saying that resolution plan cannot be arrived at. So then NCLT will go for liquidation order. So under this situation where resolution plan is either rejected by NCLT or it is not submitted by RP, or the resolution plan is violated by corporate debtor or any other person, then also liquidation order will be passed by the NCLT. So then what do you mean by liquidation? So till CIRRP, there is a possibility to revive the company, but once the company is in liquidation, then that revival cannot be done, then it has to be liquidated. So here, now there is a terminology liquidator. So who is this liquidator? Again, insolvency professional. He can be liquidator. So IRP can be RP. He can be liquidator also if appointed by committee of creditor. So if no resolution plan received or it is rejected, then liquidation can be announced by NCLT. Or if committee of creditor feels that no need to wait for 180 days, let us today in the first meeting itself we decide with majority 67%, if you want to go for liquidation, then that can also be done. So no need to wait till 180 days. And if resolution plan is violated, then liquidation order will be passed. 1 minute. So after explaining a very brief overview of CIRP and liquidation, now I will turn to the roadmap, how you can become an insolvency professional. So what are the qualifications to become an insolvency professional? So here the qualification is chartered accountant, company secretary, LLB, ICWA, management experience after graduation. If some person has a management experience, say for example in bank he is a manager, so he requires minimum 10 years of such experience. Even CA also requires minimum 10 years of experience. So freshly qualified CA, they will have to wait for 10 years, and they are eligible to become the insolvency professional. Now this category, CA, CS, LLB, 10-year experience, they will have to pass one limited insolvency examination within last 12 months. Say for example, now I have cleared the limited insolvency examination in the month of November or December. So within 12 months, I have to enroll with IPA, that is what is our institute joint venture. So if I do not enroll with ICAI within 12 months, then again I have to appear for exam. So now I have enrolled with IPA, I have got my enrollment number also. So now I have crossed the second step also. Now for those others, like only graduate is there, or those who have not completed 10 years, what can be done? So there is a special scheme for them. They have to undergo national insolvency examination, and this examination patterns has a very wide coverage, and the cost is also very high. Around 10 to 12 lakh rupees is the cost. Maybe some residential course is there, and very few such this course are announced once in a year, or now with this COVID, maybe twice, once in a 2 year or like that. So the easy route is you complete 10 years of experience as a CA professional, or CS, ICWA, LLB, or management experience, and go for limited insolvency exam. Now the exam you can appear n number of times. These are MCQ based exam, wherein you get 2 hours to appear for the exam. You have to do a self study, or there are some course conducted by IPA also. Our institute is also conducting a course for appearing in limited insolvency exam. These are very tough exam because it not only covers IBC code, but entire gamut of all the law, contract law. Because if I have to run a company as a IP, I should know all the law. SEBI, if the company is a listed, then SEBI law I should know, company law, contract act, negotiable instrument, sale of good act, and so on, CPC, and all these things. So the weightages are there for other law also. 25 marks are for other law, and 75 for IBC and judicial pronouncement. What is happening? So again, the passing percentage are minimum 60 marks you have to obtain out of 100, and there is a negative marking of 0.25%. 25%. Say for example, a question is carrying 2 marks, and if you give wrong answer, then you will not get 2 marks, but there would be a deduction of 0.5 from your this thing. So in one exam, I got 59.5. The passing was 60. So just for one silly mistake, I have to again appear, and then I got cleared. But 59.5, that is just by half mark, I could not clear limited insolvency exam. So one has to be very careful while selecting the question. If you don't know, you may skip the question. Otherwise, negative can impact you. Then you have to enroll with IPA. So there are some formalities. You have to give various documents, KYC, and all these things are there. And then 50 hours pre-registration course. So enrollment with IPA, I have already done. Now, today was my first day of this 50 hours pre-registration course. Every month, IBBI announced this course jointly with IPA. So once I complete this course, then I will have to apply for registration with IBBI. There are some fees we have to pay every year to IPA and every 5 years to IBBI. So my license with IBBI would be of 5 years. Then once I register with IBBI, then I have to apply to my IPA for authorization of assignment. So today it may happen I am registered with IBBI, but I don't want to take authorization of assignment. This is like our COP. I am a member of the institute, but do not want to take COP. That can also happen. I can be consultant to corporate debtor. I need not be IP, IRP or liquidator and so on. But if I want to take the assignment, if I want to give consent as a IP, then I have to have authorization of assignment, without which I cannot give any consent. Again, like what requirement is there for V chartered accountant, CP hours there also. So this is an additional CP hour requirement for IP. So this is a separate set of CP one has to do. Then time bound reporting mechanism. There are n number of forms, and within time bound you have to do it. If you fail to do it, then there are late fees. Then that action may be taken. If it is found that IP is regular in delaying the uploading of forms and all these things, then he may not get renewal of authorization of assignment next year. So this has to be taken care of. Now coming to professional opportunities. Any question till now? If anybody has any question on this, we can take up at this moment. Yes, Aditya? Any question? If
I don't think so. In the chats also, no questions.
okay, yeah.
So one question from me, whether the chartered accountant or any professional can have other tax audit or other auditing practice with this IBBI, or he has to, he
Yes.
cannot sign?
No. As of today, there are no such restrictions. So I can sign the tax audit report also, and I can act as IP also, but I have to be independent. Whenever I take any assignment, I should not have done, there are some restrictions of last 3 years or 5 years audit of such companies. I should not be related party. The independence has to be taken care of. There are some restrictions, but otherwise, as of today, there are no restriction. In time to come, it may happen that this become, if you want to practice as a IP, then surrender your COP. Like what if the CA and advocate is there, you have to surrender COP if you want to act practice as an advocate, right? Now, what are the professional opportunity? As I said, you can be consultant to the corporate debtor who is now under IBC. So now directors, they are not educated or they don't know the procedure. So you can be the consultant to the corporate debtor or the director. Then you can represent before NCLT and NCLAT. Friends, this is very good area for all of us, because now we can go and argue up to NCLAT. And then above that there is a Supreme Court. So till the second last layer I can go and argue it. So again, this is also very good opportunity Only thing is we need to be updated, judicial pronouncement and all these things. So even though Aditya has raised this question, can I do tax audit and income tax practice and all these things? But I feel once you decide to do insolvency professional practice, it is always advisable you have a core specialized activity, because you don't know, while signing the consent form you may feel that this is a very small company, but when you come to know that there are n number of integrity litigation, so that process may take 3 years 4 years, so your entire time would be required on that, so you may not be able to devote time in your regular compliance practice. Then I can be IRP, RP and liquidator. Then in case of personal guarantor to corporate debtor, there the terminology is bankruptcy, bankrupt trustee. So I can be that also. Then in voluntary liquidation, I can be liquidator. Now here, voluntary liquidation, say for example, this can be done by a company or LLP by majority of the consent of the director or the partner, provided there is no default, provided company is a solvent company, then you need to have valuation report, you need to have last 2 years balance sheet, so you can go for voluntary liquidation because company is able to pay the debt. So the year the roadmap is that we want to do away with the company, instead of striking off we will go for voluntary liquidation. So there I can become the liquidator. Here also, while filing the application, the consent of liquidator is required. I can be authorized representative for class of creditors, say for example allottee or bank, financial institution or such class of creditor. Now here the fees are fixed per meeting from 15,000 to 25,000. You will get the fees based on the number of the creditors in that class. So the minimum fee is 15,000 per meeting of the COC. Then I can be helpful in litigation support. So once I am aware with all the IBC law, I need not act as a IRP, RP or liquidator, but I can be helpful to the either debtor or the applicant in litigation. I can support them. Claim submission and consultancy. Even application, filing the application also we can provide the consultancy. Like if some creditor comes, I want to file a claim, there is a public announcement. So we can guide them, we can provide our professional services. So is the case when I file my application under section 7, 9 or 10 for initiating the insolvency proceeding. And the good part is that apart from all other payment, the payment of IRP, RP liquidator has the first preference even before the secured creditor. Say for example, bank has the security of 100 crore, right? And that asset is realized for say 80 crore and IRP cost is say 2 crore. So then out of 80 crore, first 2 crore will go to the IP cost, and then balance 78 crore will go to the banker. So under section 53 of IBC, the hierarchy is mentioned, wherein the first preference is of the IP cost, then secured creditor, then workmen due, employees due, then comes the government, that is income tax department, GST, along with the unsecured creditor, and then comes preference shareholder, and then comes equity holder. So equity holders will be the last person to receive if anything remains. So generally nothing remains under insolvency proceeding for equity holder. Now till today, if I can analyze what has happened, so there are many applications are filed and only 20% got resolution plan. So balance and there are some withdrawal, 15% withdrawal, and balance all 65%. Out of that, some have gone for liquidation, some are in litigation, and so on. So till today in India also, we have not got success in resolution plan. See, ultimate aim of IBC is to revive the company. So unless there is a resolution plan, the revival cannot happen. Liquidation is not the aim of IBC, but as of today, the data is like this. only 20% of the entire CIRP got the resolution plan. Yeah, friends, with this, I conclude my session. If any questions are there, I can certainly take up.
Any questions,
Yeah.
everyone?
I think there would be n number of questions because this is a new subject, and there should be n number of questions.
Yeah.
I don't see any question in chat box.
No, I think so. Jayesh
Can
Pandya
I ask a
ji.
question? Can I ask
Yes,
a question?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Ashwin ji, I just want to know typically what happens, how many, I mean, what are the kind of court proceedings which happen and how much time as a professional goes in all these court proceedings, etc. I mean, how many hearings happen? So I just wanted to get some idea. I know it will differ with all cases, but generally what happens?
See, here the entry of IRP, once the entry is done, then as regards exit, uh, there is no guarantee. It has happened many times. Once the application is filed, then the corporate debtor will go to NCLAT. Then the matter may go to Supreme Court to say that the application itself is not maintainable on many grounds. So then if he becomes successful, then IRP proceeding, IBC proceeding gets over. But if he is unsuccessful, then again matter comes to NCLT for proceeding. So even if I have given the consent today, I may become IRP after 2 years. I don't know. So once I then become IRP, then I have to call the committee of creditor. Now in that constitution of creditor also, if there are dispute, if some of the creditor feels I have not been taken as a creditor, there are disputed claims. So IRP say no, your claim is not admissible. So again, on that also litigation can happen.
Oh.
So at every point of time, we have three layers: NCLT, NCLAT, and Supreme Court. So I don't know as of today how much time I have to devote, what is the integrity and so on. So we cannot judge that, though the timeline is there, 180 days, 270 days, but this is not as simple as that. Like as I said, DHFL matter, after resolution plan is being approved by NCLT and Piramal has taken over the DHFL at 1/3 value, one of the creditor has gone into NCLT. Now NCLT feels that no, it has to be redecided by COC. So again, that RP will have to come into picture. Again, some issue will crop up and everything can happen. Now, in case of allotee of the real estate project, so that amendment came in 2020. So those proceedings where allotee this were begin prior to that, again the committee of creditor will have to be reconstituted to cover this allotee of the real estate project because now they are the financial creditor. So again that reconstitution has to be done and so on. So this is just a starting point. From 2017, many IRP or RP, they have faced many challenges like even threatening call, and the law was new, and you need to take the help of the council for filing application before NCLT. So as a chartered accountant, I can take care of the management, but then legal proceeding, drafting of minutes. So all these cost I can definitely cover, but with the consent of the creditors. I can provide that for drafting of minutes, I must have a steno. That is also possible. I can appoint another chartered accountant for forensic audit. That is also possible for verification of claim. But then your team size also matters. You don't know. Today I have given the consent. It does not mean from tomorrow I need to have five member team, because if the matter is litigated, then after 1 year my role will start. So you don't know. So you have to have permutation combination. You have to sometime outsource also some of the tasks to some other professional. So naturally,
So
you need to build the team.
one more question.
Ashwin bhai,
Yes.
Sir, I had
Yes,
one more
yes.
question. That in case the fees are fixed and because of the kind of workload I have, is there any provision for revision of my fees? Can I go back to the COC or, is there something
Yes.
like that which can happen?
You can very well go for upward revision also. COC can also think of downward revision. For example, COC now feels that within 30 days there is no scope of any resolution plan. Let us go for liquidation. Then they will say that we have decided your fees of 5 lakh rupees. So now let us bring it to 2 lakh rupees. So both can be possible, but subject to COC. But you do not have chance to withdraw.
Okay.
COC has chance to replace the RP n number of times. But once I am RP, I cannot withdraw. I cannot keep the company in a distress.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is also one of the very good
Ashwin
areas.
bhai, I'm CA Devang Sampath speaking.
Yes, yes.
Hello, Ashwin
हाँ
bhai,
बोलिए
I'm CA Devang Sampath speaking, and
Yeah.
maybe I'm also an insolvency professional who's handled many cases. So I'm just supplementing maybe a word or two to what you have said, because some of our professional colleagues, maybe in their past they have studied BIFR and CICA. So
Yeah.
Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code is welcome change to those acts. This
Yes.
resolution is time-bound resolution, and basically this is ease of doing business and ease of exit of business. It is
Correct.
not endless resolution. If it can happen in time-bound manner, fine. Otherwise, it is exit. So if I take
Yes.
through liberalization, control, maybe the abolition of controller of capital issues and creation of SEBI was
Yes.
maybe beginning of the business where you need capital. Competition
Correct.
Commission of India was during the life cycle of the business, that you can
Correct.
once the business is formed, it needs to grow, so a fair competition. And after
Correct.
maturity, when there is a decline stage, there needs to be ease of exit. If someone has done business, he has not done crime. If the business fails, he doesn't have to go to court for 20 years and waste his life. Come into
Correct.
Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, within
Yes.
time-bound manner, you get an exit, get on to new things. So
Yes.
this is the basic intent of the code. It is not endless resolution. Maybe those BIFR concepts you have to remove from our ideas. And
Correct.
second thing is appointment and removal. Everything is done by Honorable NCLT. COC only recommends it. So final decision is with Honorable NCLT. So maybe a resolution or something may be passed by NCLT, or even the application may be made with a name. As Ashwin bhai has said, someone may be nominated, but it doesn't mean that even if the case is accepted, the
Yeah,
same
it has to be
person will be handling the case.
correct.
So
It has to
someone
be
else may
approved
also be
ultimately
named.
by. Yeah.
Yes.
But
So
the
this
general
concept
procedure
is
is,
very clear.
see, general
But
procedure is okay.
yes,
NCLT will ask the IBBI whether any disciplinary proceedings are going on or like that, mechanical thing. But then they will go with the decision of COC in general.
yeah, in general they go through.
Yeah. So only for procedural aspect they will refer it to IBBI whether any bad
Yes.
track record is there or like that, whatever is there.
It is not only bad track record or something. Sometimes they also have reasons for which they may not agree with the decisions of the COC. Appointment is only with the maybe NCLT decides. So in everything, well, it's not only appointment. Everything is actually decided by Honorable NCLT.
But then
Maybe even in resolution plan.
as a RP, I cannot challenge the decision of. I cannot argue before NCLT that this is a wrong decision of COC. That has to be done by NCLT. As a RP, I don't think I have any
It
scope
depends.
of argument.
Wait, sir, it depends upon a particular circumstance. If there is a violation of law, it is duty of RP to bring it to the
Yes.
notice of Honorable NCLT. Decision is of course of NCLT, because we
Yes.
are officers appointed by court, so our boss is court. So we have to
Yes.
report to our boss.
Correct. Correct. So
Okay,
what
sir.
is your experience? It means you must have taken some assignment.
Sir,
What
I've
is your
taken maybe everything that what you have said is absolutely correct, sir. Maybe in CA practice, we have not faced many things which we face in insolvency professional, including threats, etc., including maybe many things which we have never even dreamt as a CA. So all these things may come up with IPs. In fact, most of the IPs have faced this. Running operations also maybe as service provider, we have a separate skill set, and running operations also requires a separate skill set, a separate team, etc. And every day is a new day, every day is new issues.
Yes,
Of
yes, there are
course,
n number.
100%, sir. Every profession has its plus point and negative points. But since we like a particular area, we choose a profession, sir.
Correct, correct. So what I feel is particularly for real estate project, because now we have the figure of around 3,000, more than 3,000 stalled project. So out of that, many project may belong to company or LLP. So there could be a possibility of this association to go under insolvency and so on. So all that will happen now in time to come. Because
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And
RERA is
maybe
not giving them a suitable result in time-bound manner. So insolvency proceeding will give that.
100%, sir. And it is ever evolving subject, sir. A lot of jurisprudence is there, and a lot of more jurisprudence is going to come up in this area. So,
Correct.
being a new law, both RERA and Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, there are going to be issues. And maybe experts like you are always there to help everyone out, sir.
No, we will also take your help. So Aditya,
Sir, as
next time
professional brothers,
you can think of
we are always there to help each other out.
Aditya, next time you can think of on practical aspect. You can take as a Sampath as a speaker,
Yes, yes, definitely.
because the person who has handled the assignment, he knows much better than a theory which I have undergone. But it is an interesting subject, since you have to cover all the law. You remain updated, and that's how you get benefit in your, say I'm in RERA practice. I'll get my benefit in RERA practice also, provided I am updated on IBC also. There is one more. Yes, any more question, or shall we?
Sumit, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there. If there are no more questions, we'll proceed towards the vote of thanks and we'll close today's session. So Aditya, I don't think there are many questions in the chat also. Of course, as always, Ashwin sir gave us a bouquet of knowledge, a lot of things. Because of some connectivity issue, I missed some of it, but of course, I'll definitely go through. And this is altogether a new area. And जैसे before 3 years, RERA was also a new area for chartered accountants, and some chartered accountants took interest into it and got an advantage of being the first runner in the race. So I think for IBC also one of the very good option for the chartered accountants to look forward as a new area of practice. And Ashwin sir has guided us very well through all the intricacies of this new probable opportunity. And I'm sure that Ashwin sir will be with all of us throughout the journey. Any one of us will require any kind of help from him. So with this, we can end today's session, and we'll be meeting next month once again, as always. So thank you, Ashwin sir. Thank you, Aditya, and thank you all the attendees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.